Last season, the Falcons got off to a flying start.
Touchdown, Julio Jones!
But it would all come crashing down. The Falcons have shown some promise this preseason.
Touchdown, a buck two for J.D. McKissic.
But concerns remain.
And intercepted.
Tonight, the final tune-up, one last rehearsal before division rival Jameis Winston and Tampa Bay come to town. It's the Falcons against the Jaguars next. It's a night where a lot of players around the NFL wonder what tomorrow will bring. Will they make a roster, or will the dream be dashed or at least postponed? A lot of players in that category here this evening at the Georgia Dome when the Atlanta Falcons take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in preseason Game 4 here on Atlanta's CW, presented by DraftKings. Welcome, everybody. I'm Randy Waters along with former Falcon quarterback Dave Archer, and you know what that's like for these guys we just described. You've been in their shoes, but I think there are also some things lingering in fans' minds at this point in time that they thought might have been kind of settled by now.
Yeah, there may be some questions, and probably mainly around the offense and maybe even more so around the quarterback. Matt Ryan's had a bit of a mixed bag here in the preseason. Numbers will reflect that. Decent day against Cleveland, and then Miami was, you kind of a mixed bag. I think he's ready to go. It's his 9th year. Remember, they had a slow start a year ago in the preseason in Game 3. I think he's ready to go against Tampa.
Every year, training camp, preseason, there are some players, a player or two kind of jump off the page, or maybe in TV terms off the screen. Who have you seen this year?
I love this time of year when you find a couple diamonds in the rough, and this guy probably epitomizes that. When you talk about J.D. McKissic, prolific returner in college, would it translate this level? First time he touched it, he goes to the house. This is a guy that's going to have to do more than just return kicks to make this team. Devondre Campbell, 4th-round draft pick out of Minnesota. They had an idea that he might be able to cover, maybe play against the run. We haven't even seen him rush the passer yet. He has really been the star of training camp so far for the Falcons.
Overall goals for these organizations, what would be their Home Depot tools to win tonight?
Well, both these teams want to get out of here healthy, and it's more important maybe for the Falcons. They got really beat up in the last game. But when you got an opportunity, and there are some guys that are on the bubble, you have to impress tonight, whether it's the coaches here or in another building someplace else. And for Jacksonville, up-and-coming team, it's a young football team. There are high expectations for the Jaguars this year.
5-11 last year, but like you said, high expectations in 2016. When we come back, Rashawn Ali on the field with head coach Dan Quinn. Then Falcons, Jaguars. The NFC South Falcons, the AFC South Jaguars about to meet in preseason Game 4 here in 2016 before they head out to the regular season schedule. Let's go down to the sideline. Rashawn Ali with head coach Dan Quinn.
Coach, last preseason game, how much of the first-team offense will we see tonight?
They won't see a lot, but here's what I can tell you. We're still looking for. There's still some evaluating to do, and we can't wait to see. There's a lot of energy from some of these guys here, so we're looking forward to seeing them play tonight. It'll primarily be, some guys who are battling in there, so we can't wait to see them play.
All right, your overall expectations, what are you honing in on?
Number one, we just want to see that effort jump out, the passion that we love playing. That's really where it starts, just that effort first. Offensively, we like to see the line of scrimmage, and that part of our game, can we get it exactly like we want? Defensively, I still think it's another chance for us to work our tackling. We worked it hard in the preseason, and now it's another chance to work that as well.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Matt Bosher set to kick it off for Atlanta preseason Game 4. Underway here at the Georgia Dome. A low line drive kick taken on the bounce by Josh Johnson at his 5-yard line. Nearly taken down, and then finally indeed taken down inside the 20. I think Aldrick Robinson finally got to him at the end after he had been tripped up on the return.
Randy, two guys battling for jobs. C.J. Goodwin was the first guy, forced him wide, and then Aldrick Robinson made the tackle. Two guys trying to make the team.
So Jacksonville will start at the 19. I think we may have seen the strategy there employed that will be used sometimes against the new 25-yard line deal on the touchback. Arch,
short,
tried to pin it,
short kick, good coverage, absolutely.
Keep him inside the 25 or 20. So reverse handoff here, taken by Shane Wynn, and he is covered up inside the 15-yard line. Looked like Vic Beasley back, Deion Jones back there on the tackle for Atlanta. Let's take a look at this offensive line for Jacksonville's Jaguars. Luke Jokel has been moved into guard to play tackle in his career up to this point in time.
Well, both these teams are going to sub a lot. These are the guys who are expected to start for Jacksonville in week 1, and we probably won't see many of these guys tonight, but we're going to see a lot of guys battling for jobs. Great play by Vic Beasley to start this game. Makes a big-time play for a tackle for loss.
2nd and 16. Brandon Allen, the rookie from Arkansas, to throw, right through the hands. Almost intercepted. Let's take a look at the Falcons defensively. Again, guys, we expect to see. Looks like Brooks Reed in there for Adrian Claiborne on the right side of the Falcons defensive line. Jackson, Jarrett, and Shelby along the rest of the line. Linebackers, we're going to see a lot of them. These are 3 you expect to see at the start, but we're going to see those rookies, Jones and Campbell, like Arch mentioned.
In fact, it's 3rd down, Randy, and those guys are in the game now. There's your secondary. We know the safety issue with Neal in the injury, Ishmael in the injury. So Parm's playing some safety. Sherrod Niesman in the game as safety as well. So see a lot of players in the back end.
From the shotgun, Allen looking from his 5 out to his right, and some pretty sure tackling right there by the guy Arch just mentioned, Devondre Campbell. Denard Robinson was the receiver.
Randy, excellent opening drive for the Falcon defense. They open up with their regulars in the game, and they did a great job. Beasley gets the tackle for loss. You get the play where Niesman almost came up the interception, and then Devondre Campbell in the left flat makes a tackle on a minimal gain, and they force an early punt here deep in Jacksonville territory.
Brad Nortman standing at his 5, one of the best in the business, to the rookie trying to make the roster, J.D. McKissick. High and deep. McKissick moving in on it inside the 30. A little jitterbug step gets it back up over the 35 to about the 36-yard line as the Falcons offense comes onto the field. And we're going to see Matt Ryan right off the bat here. Of course, Arch and I mentioned off the top, some fans have some concerns. Of course, everybody blames everything on the quarterback, Arch. I blamed everything on you in the mid-'80s. I had a good time doing it, too.
You may have had a reason to back in those days. I don't think we're going to see Matt very long, but he does open the game. They want to open the game just like they would any regular season game, so Ryan starts at quarterback.
Number 36 officially. And here's Freeman. Shy of the 40 before being taken down by Miles Jack, the rookie from UCLA.
Miles Jack and Matt Ryan, he wasn't in there long, was he? Matt Ryan hands off to Devontae Freeman. We saw Miles Jack, the kid that got injured at UCLA early in his final season there, and actually decided, you know what, I'm not going to try to come back from injury. I'm just going to rehab. The rehabbing did really a good thing as Matt Schaub checks in at quarterback because he's ready to go in training camp for Jacksonville. They drafted him in the 2nd round.
Matt Schaub, as we said, in 10 of 11 against Miami. So in our sort of starting lineup, Bud Light starting lineup, it's Schaub handing off to Tevin Coleman, goes around the left side, and then again, Miles Jack in on the tackle, the rookie from UCLA. The rest of the offense, Matthews, Levitri, Mack, Chester, and Schrader along the offensive line there, Arch.
Well, it's an offensive line that I think is pretty much set. I think Chester's probably going to open the season. I know there's been a lot of talk about what's going to go on at the right guard position. I think Chester has secured that spot. There's the skill position guys that are in the game now with Matt Schaub at quarterback. Julio Jones, really the only starter that does not open the game.
On a 3rd and 2, this is Hardy coming in motion into the slot on the right side. The handoff, but a flag down before Teron Ward, who's making his first appearance of the preseason.
Offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Yeah, and that can't happen. Those are the type of plays that Coach Quinn has been trying to get out of the system of the Falcons here in the preseason. Too many penalties, and that's 3rd and 2, Randy.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you go back to 3rd and 7 or 8 now. And that changes the play dramatically. So that's a play that can't happen. Jacob Tamme cannot allow himself to make a mistake in a dead ball situation.
Yeah, it's a veteran making a dead ball mistake there. And like you said, you cannot have that. 3rd and 7 now. Schaub from the gun. Sanu into motion to the right side. Schaub, pretty clean pocket, gets it out to Sanu, who's going to be tackled shy of the 1st down marker. Miles Jack is all over this field tonight.
How about the series for Miles Jack, the big timer out of UCLA? He's going to float to the outside. He's number 44. Sanu runs a simple out route from the tight area there. But Miles Jack made 3 tackles in that series.
Brian Walters, one of the Jacksonville receivers, doubling as the punt returner here to take it off the toe of Basher. Ooh, some penetration there. A flag down on the play, back on the Falcons side of the field as the ball goes into the end zone. We'll have to check the penalty. By the way, your referee tonight is Ron Torbert, 6th year in the league, 3rd year as a referee in the NFL as he discusses it with his group. Boy, Jack was something. 6 of the 7 draft picks in the Jacksonville draft class are defensive players, and boy, he's the star, they think, of that bunch.
Looks like this is going to be an ineligible man for the Falcons downfield to maybe tack on 5 at the end of the return here.
Ineligible player downfield by the kicking team. Ineligible player downfield by the kicking team, number 81. Jacksonville is elected to tack that 5-yard penalty on to the dead ball spot. It'll be Jacksonville's ball, first down, timeout.
Well, that time it was a rookie making the mistake. Austin Hooper called for the penalty. Preseason broadcast is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings.com, the daily fantasy sports destination. And sponsored in part by Bud Light. Bud Light, raise one to right now. The rookie Brandon Allen brings out the Jacksonville offense from the 25-yard line. In the center this time, fake to Robinson, rolling right and completing it upfield up over the 35-yard line to Brian Walters, a guy who was back in punt return formation moments ago.
A good job by Brandon Allen to get the ball out quickly. 3rd all-time in Arkansas history with 7,463 yards passing. And the 64 touchdown pass. Had an outstanding career as a Razorback, and really a good play there on that opening play on the bootleg. Ball comes out quickly and he moves the chains.
First down just up over the 35 at the 36 is where it's marked. Once again, the single back, and this time Robinson has the ball going to the left side and up over the 40-yard line.
One of those guys, Sherrod Niesman, who we're going to talk about all night long tonight, Randy, with a safety position, comes up and makes this play. Warlow pressuring from the inside, but you see the speed. Shoelace. Denard Robinson gets to the outside, made it famous at Michigan, running the football as a quarterback, and he's made it a little bit of a name for himself as Jacksonville's running back.
Gain of 5, so 2nd and 5. Allen, 38 starts in his college career at Arkansas. Again, Robinson, he's got a first down, a little more onto the Falcons side of the field, barely, but on the Falcons side of the field. Allen was the only offensive player in that entire draft class of 7 players for Jacksonville, focused on defense.
Like we said, his over 7,000, almost 7,500 yards of passing, his 3rd all-time, 64 touchdown passes, his all-time record in Razorback history. This is a kid that can sling it. He also can move around really well. We've seen that with the bootleg play to start the series.
Robinson to the right side this time. Didn't get much at all there. Joey Mbu, 2nd-year guy on the tackle.
Denard Robinson, one of those guys kind of battling to make this club. He's really taught himself to play running back. He played quarterback the bulk of the time. They did try to use him some as a runner late in his career at Michigan, but set unbelievable records as the Wolverine quarterback. But Gus Bradley trying to figure out who those running backs are going to be opposite T.J. Yeldon.
Bradley, of course, the Seahawks defensive coordinator. Oh boy, players all over the place and flags as well. Bradley, the Seahawks D coordinator before Dan Quinn was the Seahawks defensive coordinator.
And 2 guys that are very good friends.
Ball start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
In fact, it was Gus Bradley. You talk about Gus Bradley. Watch the movement here, a little pre-snap movement. Another mistake, dead ball mistake this time by Jacksonville. But talking about Coach Bradley, Coach Bradley was about to become the Jacksonville head coach when he received a phone call from Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn said, you know what, I'm thinking about maybe getting back in the league. And he says, we need to call Pete Carroll because I'm getting ready to leave to take a head job. And he came back as the D coordinator from Florida to become Pete Carroll's defensive coordinator. Of course, the rest is history. Dan Quinn now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
2nd and 12 after the penalty on Kadeem Edwards for the early move. And that pass is on the money inside or right at the 35-yard line.
A well-thrown ball on the outside. Akeem King, the corner, working on the outside. It's an outstanding throw. Again, Brandon Allen understands. Corner's got his back to the play. I can put my guy up the bat. Makes a good throw to Shaq Evans on the outside for a nice pickup. Brandon Allen been impressive here, how he's distributing the football.
Evans is wide left this time. Inside of him is Rashad Lawrence. They're holding out a lot of their top line receivers, so some of these other guys have a chance to make an impression here tonight. Allen flushed to his right. Good footwork on his part, and down inside the 25-yard line as a flag flies on that play. Philip Wheeler in on the play.
Offensive PI here, I believe, on Jacksonville. Maybe blocking before the ball was thrown.
Pass interference. Offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
One of the tight ends, Braden Bowman, guilty party.
Yeah, probably engaged blocking before that ball was completed down the field on the screen. Really pretty well set up on the screenplay that time to Robinson. This is a Jacksonville team, Randy, that you mentioned the wide receiver core. They are loaded at wide receiver. If you make the team in Jacksonville as a wide receiver, you have got to be able to play now because their frontliners, Robinson, Marquise Lee, and Allen Hurns, can all ball.
1st and 20 at the 44. Quick drop, quick throw, and quick tackle, by the way, by Sean Weatherspoon.
It's neat to see Sean Weatherspoon back in an Atlanta Falcon uniform. He is ecstatic about being here, playing alongside Paul Warlow. There's Deion Jones, the number 2 draft pick out of LSU, who I think if you had to guess, I think Deion Jones will be your opening day starting middle linebacker, and I think Devondre Campbell will open as a starting outside linebacker. But Warlow and Weatherspoon are good veteran additions, good veteran leadership in that room.
Joe Banyard has now come in at running back on a 2nd and 16 play, and the draw play is to Banyard, and they love the guy on special teams in Jacksonville. They might love him in the backfield after that play right there. Akeem King in on the tackle.
Well, let's take a look at the block. They're going to get a block on Deion Jones. Here's Jones, the linebacker. Watch how they get him blocked. He's the key in the nickel run game. Little delay, but there's the block on Deion Jones, and he's the guy that's got to fill that gap in that middle. And Banyard's off and running. There's the block on Jones. Maybe a little bit of a wrap-up. I guess you'd call that a block. Maybe it was a tackle by the tight end pulling around.
It was a blackle. Combination block tackle. That's a first down, however you want to describe it, for Jacksonville as Allen has the offense moving. Banyard tripped up. Look at the penetration there by Malachi Goodman into the backfield.
Anytime you break the line of scrimmage, meaning you're going to pull linemen to go a different direction, penetration is the key. Malachi Goodman's out here on the outside. He's going to see him just blast down to the inside, really blows the play up. As you're a pulling tight end or pulling lineman, you're looking for a clear running lane, and because of Malachi Goodman's pressure and push to the inside, not a clear running lane, and it really clogged the play up.
2 tights for Jacksonville. Banyard still in the backfield, and he's the guy with the ball, but the guy with him at the moment is Jonathan Babineau.
The old man on the defensive line, a guy that just keeps coming to play each and every time you line up. Boy, he loves to put the black hat on with the bird on the side. He's been a guy that's been a stalwart in this defensive line for a long, long time. And Babs might be one of those kind of guys. He's battling now here in the waning years of his career. But he's a great leader. He's great in the defensive line room. And I think that they want to see him play his way onto the team.
Brian Poole in the secondary, the rookie from Florida, and Tyler Starr among those who've checked in defensively for the Falcons. However, that is going to be a Jacksonville touchdown unless there's a flag on the play. But it is Evans who's been a big part of this drive with the touchdown reception.
This is a big-time throw. Shaq Evans going to run a little skinny post, and he gets a shot right down through the middle from Brandon Evans. Take a look at this throw. This is a perfect throw. Press coverage. King does not get any kind of jam on Evans. Evans just looks to the inside, and it was almost like Brandon Allen handed him the football. What a beautiful throw. And Evans punches it into the end zone. That's an impressive drive by Jacksonville.
Jason Myers will try to tack on the extra point, which, as we know, is now a permanent rule, not experimental like last year, from 33 yards out, and does so. So it's a 7-0 deficit after the 10-play, 75-yard drive and a 25-yard touchdown by Jackson. Up here by a score of 7-0 with 4:28 left in the first quarter. A very impressive drive engineered by the rookie from Arkansas, Brandon Allen. Took him a little over 6.5 minutes to do it. So the Falcons hope to get the ball back in good field position. Now, if the toe of Jason Myers, and the guy they hope gives them some position, is one who took it 101 yards. There he is against Washington. J.D. McKissick had 1 for 22 at Cleveland, and against Miami he also had a good outing. However, this time it's to a knee, and so the ball goes to the 25. Sims now takes over. You see his numbers on the preseason here, 19 of 39. Did not play against Miami. Against Cleveland, he was 10 of 13 for 136 and a touchdown. That one was thrown to Devin Fuller, who's now on IR. So from the 25, it's Sims and the Falcons on offense with Teron Ward at the running back spot behind Sims. And it's Ward who's going to get the ball. Looked like a little mix-up on the handoff there. It didn't look real smooth. The Jaguars defensive, I told you about them drafting 6 of 7 players on the defensive side of the draft. The big names for them are Odrick, Miller, Jackson, and Fowler, the guys they expect to help turn them around.
And Malik Jackson is the big part of that. Comes over from the Super Bowl champ Denver Broncos. See the linebacker core there, Skuda, Puslesny, and Smith. And, of course, in the back end, Cyprian turning into a really good player. And you see Jalen Ramsey, the big timer out of Florida State, going to play corner.
After catching it, falling to the turf is Ward, so not much going on that play either. So here's Sims in his first series, is now looking
to go through practice. They had it taped up pretty well. Now, they said he's progressed pretty quickly the last couple of days, and so he felt like he was ready to go, but it's that left ankle that's bothered him for the last few games. He hasn't been able to play.
He's going out to the right now. Hardy and Robinson to the left. Sims looking to the right. Off the hands of Austin Hooper and intercepted. That is picked off by Josh Johnson.
Yeah, just a mistake by Hooper. You got to catch the football. There's a traffic type catch. Sims is moving up in the pocket. The ball is a little high, but you know what? You have to make this catch if you're the young tight end. Certainly Matt Sims was hoping that the third-round draft pick out of Stanford was going to be able to reel it in. Not the start that Matt Sims was looking for. He was excited, really have a chance to have extended playing time. Little pressure, moves in the pocket like he's supposed to, climbs up. It's a little bit tall, but, you know, Austin, that is going to be a very catchable ball for the entire time you're in the National Football League.
Well, it'll be Jacksonville's ball, and Allen will have another chance to move the Jags offense. Thought that was actually a pick, or maybe it was juggled, hit the ground toward the end, but here we go, ready to play. Brandon Allen is 5 of 6 and has taken Jacksonville to a touchdown, drops back to throw it again. Not much pressure on him, deep left corner, overthrown, but not by much. Shane Wynn, the intended receiver. Here's the pick, and see what you think.
Yeah, you're looking for the ball to move. All going to pop out of the hands and into Sample's hands, and then
when he gets it right,
I'm okay with that. And then as he starts
right
to get
there,
up,
you can't control the ground is actually what it's resting on right there. And I don't think he was touched when he was down before at first. I don't know.
Nobody had any discussion about it.
Very little. Denard Robinson, still the running back, and with the ball now inside the 40-yard line goes the former Wolverine, Rashid Hagman, over there among the Falcons in on the tackle. Want to remind you right now, you can own your own seat at the new stadium. Find out more about the 23 different price options at all levels, 678-686-4400, and choose option 1 now to speak with a live representative about Falcons tickets at the new Mercedes-Benz
Well,
Stadium.
it's really a cool opportunity. You literally own that piece of property, the seat, and you get to decide what you do with it. You know, you can sell it to someone else. There's a lot going on with the seat. Need to check into that. It's a really cool opportunity in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
3rd and 5 with Joe Banyard, the running back. He stayed in the block, and the pass is incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Brian Walters, and Allen ended up on his keister. Had a little bit of pressure on him that time.
Yeah, Nordley Cappy is the guy that has kind of turned some heads in camp, number 96. He's going to come off at the top of your screen. He gets there a little bit late. Tyler Starr presses him up in the pocket, and then Cappy finishes him off with a nice little hit, and then maybe rush the decision-making or the throw mechanism for Brandon Allen right there that forced the incompletion.
Jason Myers is about to try a 57-yard field goal from the left hash. Out away. Don't know if it has enough height on it, and it did not.
Wow, now Atlanta will take over about their 45 or wherever that was.
That's one where in the regular season you might have seen a punt to try to nail you down inside your own territory. Watching instead of playing as the Falcons have the ball, Matt Sims and his offense after the failed field goal attempt by Jacksonville. Falcons trailing 7-zip. Here's Sims handing to Teron Ward, who cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. And let's take a look at our Northside Hospital. First quarter highlights. You have to admit it's been a highlight of the Jacksonville offense behind Allen and also the Jaguars defense. Touchdown pass there to Evans. Looks in midseason form on the celebration. And then Sims pass off the hands of Hooper, intercepted by Johnson.
Well, those are the highlights that do kind of lean towards Jacksonville, but right at the end of that drive, the Falcon defense got a good stop after that turnover. Nice sudden change situation, present a good opportunity here field position-wise.
Sims, that's to Robinson, who gathers it in short of the first down, but nonetheless got back a pretty good chunk on a 2nd and 12 play. And so it'll bring up a 3rd down. And Robinson among guys who might be a little bit worried about tomorrow or the day after, Arch.
Well, Aldrich had an outstanding first weekend. Obviously, he caught the long touchdown pass from Schaub. He had another big play as well. And when you look at the wide receiver core, I think Julio Jones, Sanu, Hardy, Weems are solid. And you're looking at probably 2 of those 3 on the right. McKissick, Robinson, and Williams are probably battling for those other 2 spots.
Sims, another catch by Robinson. That can't hurt his cause.
Robinson's got great speed, and that's the thing they like about his ability to get deep and go over the top, but he has to make the tough catch too, and he's had a couple of opportunities here early in this game. Excellent job against press coverage, gets inside and makes an unbelievable stab at this with the left hand just to get it back where he might be able to reel it in, which he did. So Aldrich Robinson making an early statement here in game 4 of the preseason. Hey, I'm supposed to be one of those Falcon receivers.
Falcons picking up their initial first down into Jacksonville territory. And it looked like Brandon Wild, we weren't sure he'd be able to go. Looked like Wild's into the lineup at running back. Or no, that's still Ward. Right. So Teron Ward on the carry as we have reached the end of the first quarter with the score 7-0 Jacksonville. Back to the Georgia Dome after these messages. You're watching Atlanta Falcons football on Atlanta's. That little guy might not like what he's hearing about the offense in the first quarter because the Falcons had some problems. 1 first down, 42 yards, a couple of penalties, and a turnover in that first quarter. But they're down to the 30-yard line of Jacksonville here as we start the second quarter. Perkins, the tight end, is out wide right now. Back in motion into the slot. Still Ward at running back. Now back outside. Completion down inside the 20-yard line. Justin Hardy, the catch for the Falcons.
Good quick decision by Matt Sims. Gets the ball outside to Hardy quickly. And Hardy, outstanding receiver at East Carolina, set the NCAA record for receptions. And he's about ready to step into his own, a guy that's about ready to become maybe a difference maker in the game. And obviously this team needs somebody. Roddy White has moved on, and you got Julio Jones, but who's going to be that other guy? No Sanu's here, but Hardy ready to step up.
Will Rattel, re-signed this week, is at fullback. Just faked Now is the receiver. Now has the ball. Now is looking for the end zone inside the 5 before he is taken down. Will Rattell out of North Dakota, a middle linebacker at North Dakota.
And unfortunately got rolled up right at the end of this play, reaching down. That's what the Falcons can't afford, another injury at running back. Rattell was brought back into the fold. Rattell's going to line up right here, just going to slip out into flat on the bootleg play. Good throw by Sims to get his shoulders around, but watch the back end of this play. Miles Jack running after him, kind of rolled up the ankle.
Well, we'll check on Rattell as the training staff is doing now when we come. Fullback Will Rattell, who had to be helped off the field, getting attention on the sideline now. Falcons medical staff looking him over. He got the ball down to the 4-yard line, so it's 1st and goal at the 4, and here's Ward taking the handoff, trying to get up the middle for 6, but he stopped inside the 5. So let's take another look at this. You can see it's the right ankle and leg in harm's way here. Miles Jack, the tackle.
I just rolled him up there just before he went down. And well, you mentioned linebacker at North Dakota. Really impressed people at his pro day. Ran 4.54 at the pro day with 36 in the bench press. I know that's what you did, Randy, coming out.
I was a shade below that. Ward again, and looks like he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Wes Schweitzer says, yep. Arms extended up. He agrees with the call by the officials and the success by Ward.
A good interior push that time by the offensive line. Ben Garland in particular was able to come off. Number 63, Garland going to get a good solid block at the point of attack. And then good vision by Ward, who slips in behind his left guard and center. Garland 63, the center. See the block on the linebacker. That allowed the cutback, and then good solid blocking on the backside by Person. Looked like maybe Gibson in there at left tackle as well. Good job by that backside to allow Teron Ward to fold back in for the touchdown.
Matt Bryant, who's been sidelined with some ailments, is back in action now, and as usual, he's true on the extra point. So Bryant tacks on 1, and we're all even with 13:20 left, second quarter. A meeting of the mats. Schaub standing, Ryan and Sims sitting. Sims, by the way, just led his team on an 8-play, 53-yard drive for the score. And while Will Rattell did indeed make it off the field into the locker room under his own power, you'd have to describe that trip as rather gingerly, the way he was walking.
Well, that'll mean that Patrick DeMarco, who they wanted to keep out of the action, will have to fire the engine back up, get ready.
Josh Johnson breaking up over the 20 and down at the 23-yard line. Don't forget, there's a lot of buzz about Supergirl moving to the CW this fall. Show joins The Flash and Arrow and the network's other superheroes. The premiere slated for Monday, October 10th at 8 p.m. right here on Atlanta's CW. Quite an opportunity for Brandon Allen here tonight, Arch. Expect him to play the entire game for Jackson.
Well, he's looked sharp. He's really done a nice job. Moved his team down to a nice touchdown pass earlier. And see if he can answer Falcons and Matt Sims.
Joe Banyard is the running back, and it's Banyard with the ball, and he might have gotten a couple. That's about it, though. Courtney Upshaw among the Falcons in on the tackle. You mentioned Sims, by the way, in the first quarter. Falcons had 1 first down and 42 yards on that drive, 3 first downs and 53 yards engineered by Sims.
Good penetration on that last play by Malachi Goodman. That'll be the second or third time we've mentioned his name, number 54, playing to try to make the football team. He's been around for the last couple seasons out of Clemson. He's battling. He's at the top of your screen on the D-line there, trying to battle to make the team.
Moving a little bit to the outside of the tackle right now. Quick pass to the outside. And a hit by Robinson Therese, and then finished off a little bit later on.
Guess who? The new guy.
There's Deshaun Goldson with the hit. The pass was completed to Aurelius Ben.
Well, this is supposedly the reputation of Goldson. We saw him as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. In fact, it was right here where the 49ers broke the Falcon fans' hearts in NFC Championship game. Goldson was a Pro Bowler at safety on that team, and he just dropped the hammer on that second down play.
Talk about quick learning curve as far as adapting to Dan Quinn's in Richard Smith's defensive system. This is a 3rd and 3 play for Allen and the Jacksonville offensive unit. Out to the right, and that should be enough for the first down. Brian Walters on the reception. Let's go down to the sideline with Rashawn Ali and Matt Ryan.
All right, Matt Ryan, your 9th season. What continues to motivate you?
You know, I think it's the same for all of us. We want to win a championship, and you know, we're working really hard towards that right now. But in order to do that, you got to take it 1 week at a time. So I think everybody's looking forward to next week, kicking off the regular season and getting going.
You know, in the off season, I heard you did some baseball training. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, just, I mean, a little bit of baseball training in terms of throwing. The mechanics are super similar, so just in the way I train my shoulder, work with some guys out in California that helped me a ton, and I feel really good heading into this year.
Well, I know you guys had so many visitors at training camp. Who impressed you the most, from Ric Flair to T.I.? Who are you starstruck by?
T.I. was pretty cool to see. I mean, you know, he's the man here in Atlanta, so that was pretty cool to meet him. Ric Flair coming out to practice was really cool. We've been fortunate to have some really good guests at practice.
Last book you read besides your playbook?
Oh man, that's it's been a while. I need to read a little bit more often. I can't remember.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and good luck this season, Matt.
All right, thank you.
Randy?
Thank you, Rashawn.
Randy, I like some of the things. Matt is always trying to find a way, and he understands he didn't play as well as he needed to play a year ago. Some turnovers hurt the football team. Some of it was created by him. Some of it was because there was some things going on around him that weren't very good. But ultimately, he understands the ball comes out of his hands. It's his responsibility. And he really worked hard this offseason on footwork, on arm strength, some of the things that he thought might be able to push the envelope to make him a better player this year for his club.
Banyard taking the handoff and finding room on the right side, almost up to midfield. That'll be another first down for the Jaguars. Paul Warlow in on the tackle for the Falcons.
Take a look at this. It's going to be a sweep play to the outside. Go ahead and roll it, boys. Good block at the point of attack. Got the point block, and then that's a missed tackle right there. Sean Witherspoon cannot overrun that play. Got to use the sideline, force him to the sideline, use the sideline as the extra defender. So Spoon overran the play there, but good blocking at the point of attack by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
First down on the 48. Bernard Robinson, as we said, fighting for a job with the Jaguars, back into the lineup. Fake to him, and then, down goes Mr. Allen, courtesy Courtney Upshaw.
Well, big Courtney Upshaw finally burst through. They've moved him around. He's played on the end. He's played defensive tackle. This is a guy that had a ton of success, as we know, in Alabama. He's right here going to find a way to get to the quarterback. Playing that 3 technique, is able to go one-on-one to the guard. Nice move to the outside, and then is able to wrap up Brandon Allen with the quickness. 285, 290 pounds. He's had to try to put some weight on to try and play in that interior part of the defensive line. Came out of college at about 265, playing that big linebacker at Alabama. Did some of that with Baltimore Ravens, but playing inside for the Falcons right now.
Yep, 4 years in Baltimore, trying to make an impact here with Atlanta. You mentioned great teams at Alabama, 2 national championships.
I think it qualifies.
Yeah, I think that'd go in the great category, wouldn't it? Hope to see more of that here by him. Season broadcast is sponsored in part by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by SunTrust, moments that matter.
Randy, neat moment here in the Dome. It's something the National Football League does a great job. Certainly Atlanta Falcons do. Home Depot sponsors some of these soldiers coming home, and we just got a chance to see another soldier return home from being overseas. Really cool moment that Home Depot sponsors. You know, big shout out to Home Depot for sponsoring our soldiers coming home.
How about it? It was a nice welcome too from this crowd here at the Dome tonight. A loss of 9 on the sack by Upshaw. Now the completion out to the left side, and a nice move put on by Brian Walters to get a little bit more out of it. He's back close. Well, he's actually still a couple of yards shy of the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 12.
Kind of one of the old veterans that's been around. When you look at this young receiver core, Walters only in his 5th season, but you feel like he's the old man of the group. But it's a quick shot to the outside, and Tyler Starr comes in, drops the hammer on Brandon Allen. Another one of those guys fighting. Tyler Starr's been around here for a couple seasons, trying to fight to make the club.
3rd and 12. Joe Banyard alongside Allen. Now Allen over the middle, picked off Robinson Therese. Back to the 45, back to midfield. Fighting for, but not quite getting to the 40 of Jacksonville. Therese, the safety, he and Deshaun Golden were at safety when the ball was snapped, and Therese with the pick.
Now, Randy, this is a 5'9" defensive back, and he stretches it to the top of the ladder the best he can, playing zone coverage. Allen trying to throw the ball over the top of him, had Walters in behind, but Therese climbs the ladder. Therese right in the middle of your screen, reading the quarterback's eyes, floats back, and look at him elevate and go get the football. 5'9", 210-pounder out of Auburn. Makes a big-time play. Here's the quarterback pressure.
Corey Johnson, the rookie from Kentucky.
Yeah, Poop Johnson in there with the big hit.
Nick Williams in at receiver. You saw him come in motion. Now here's Ward after taking the handoff and is stopped cold at the line of scrimmage. That was a 23-yard return, by the way, by Therese, who had 1 pick in the regular season last year.
He played a lot of football last year as an undrafted free agent out of Auburn, and he learned a lot last year, and he's in a bit of a battle himself. We've talked about Parms, and we talked about Thiesman, who's done a nice job at the safety spot. We know about Neal and Ricardo Allen, those guys. So this is a guy that's trying to battle to make the team.
Kissick to the left. Sims over the middle. That's knocked away and picked off by Jacksonville. The intended receiver was the rookie tight end Hooper, and this is Nick Marshall on the interception for the Jags. He is a guy who is trying to make this Jacksonville team. He's on the bubble, and maybe he improved his situation right there.
Just in the right place at the right time on the carom here. But, boy, when you're a quarterback and you throw the ball to a guy and it gets volleyballed in the air, you have a tendency not to go back. That's the second time it's come off the hands of Austin Hooper, the tight end. Let's take a look here and see if this ball was batted or was this a ball that should have been caught. Hooper, 81 in the middle. Yeah, another ball off his hands. The young man's got to make that catch. Good offset throw. He throws it to the shoulder away from the defender. Hooper can't handle it. And Marshall makes the play.
Marshall, hated in Athens, loved in Auburn. College football fans know what I'm talking about. Denard Robinson on the carry. Looked like Weatherspoon over there on the tackle for Atlanta.
Now, this is a linebacker core that I think last year when you looked at the Falcon linebackers, you said, wow, okay, we're going to keep these couple guys, and who else we're going to keep? This year, you have a nice solid core. The young guys and then Warlow and Spoon add that depth at the linebacker core that I think you like that group now.
2nd and 8. For Allen, back on the field after he saw his defense get the ball back for him after Therese made the pick, and they're coming after the quarterback. Did not get there, but the ball goes off the hands of the intended receiver, Braden Boben.
Yeah, Boben, the free agent out of South Alabama. Just did not squeeze the football. Again, these are catches. We've seen a couple of young guys. That's a rookie tight end in Bowman right there. That's a ball he's got to catch. We've seen Austin Hooper have a tough time catching the football as well. Ball comes out quick in this league. It's in college anymore. Got to get your head around and get those hands ready.
Third and 8. Allen had time, and deep down the right side off the hands of the intended receiver Evans, who's been a favorite target of Allen tonight. Akeem King on the coverage.
A little underthrown this time. He didn't really give him a chance to catch the ball. Evans a chance to catch the ball, but really good position this time by Akeem King. Akeem King right in his hip pocket, turns at the last moment, gets his eyes on the ball and bats it away. So Akeem King had a really good offseason, Randy. He was kind of the star of OTAs when you go back to June and May, and it's kind of tailed off a little bit for him in training camp, but that's a really good play right there.
Nick Williams is back to return the punt. This one's so high he has to give the fair catch signal, and standing at his 13, Williams has it. Falcons have the ball, 6:14 to go, second quarter. You know what they say about C's of the day? Hey, go one better. Own your seat. That would be at the new stadium. Find out more about the 23 different price options at all levels. 678-686-4400. Choose option 1 right now to speak with a live representative about Falcons tickets at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Randy, fan experience is going to be unbelievable. 91,000 square feet of LED video displays. You're going to be connected in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Well, here's Sims looking deep down the middle, has a wide open receiver, and it's complete to Nick Williams. Well done.
Yeah, play action fake, good hard play action fake, deep set for Sims, and you got the deep over at a post route by Eric Weems to clear the safety out, and then Williams finds that void about 20 yards down the field. Here's the deep play action fake, draw the underneath defenders up, wait, and then shoot the ball into Williams with Weems clearing.
He took a shot after he let it go, but it's a big play for the Falcons to the 36-yard line, from the 13 to the 36. And here's a play that looks a little similar. And again, it's Williams on the receiving end of the pass from Sims down to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, the difference on this one is this time you're going to allow the quarterback to move off the play action fake. Before it was a deep set, a pocket tight pass. This time Sims with the play fake, going to continue to move. This is a bootleg play to the outside. Excellent throw to Williams. Williams just mirroring his quarterback as the quarterback rolls right. Williams continues that direction. Well thrown ball by Sims.
Falcons digging themselves out of what was their worst starting position of the game. Eric Weems is into the lineup now. Here's another fake. This time Sims left, lets her go, and it's a little bit high, intended for J.D. McKissick.
He waited too long. He actually had McKissick open right out of the break, but he peeked deep. He had Weems going deep. He's going to have McKissick right now. McKissick's open, but he took a peek at Weems going on the deep route, and by the time he got back to McKissick, it was too late. He had to throw the football away. Good decision to throw it away, but he might have had McKissick early, and if you get that kid open early, he can fly. Get him the ball.
Corey Washington, rookie, is into the lineup. He's wide right. And this is Ward. Some blockers out in front, down to the 30-yard line, or in that neighborhood. However, there's also a yellow flag in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's generally in that holding area, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Kind of mistakes, preseason or not, coaches hate.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Tackle Tom Compton.
Yeah, and I think Tom Compton is the swing tackle on this team. We know Bryce Harris is playing the other tackle as well, but Compton 76. Let's see where he gets his hands. He's going to be working right here in front of you, right here. Yeah, he's going to reach out and grab the edge. Now, does he turn him loose? He does not. Once the back gets to the edge, you got to turn the defensive player loose.
That also intended for McKissick, and a flag down in the backfield. This might be roughing, Arch.
No, I think this is going to be a hold, Randy.
Do you?
Yep. I think the young man, Schweitzer, may get called.
Yeah.
Offense. Number 71.
You got it.
10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
We're going to have to give you a striped shirt.
No, I don't want a striped shirt. Those guys are not my favorite guys anyway. So.
I didn't say you had to wear it. I just said we'd give you one.
Schweitzer 71 going to set in the middle. He's operating right there is where he is, and just kind of a late grab. This was a late penalty, so kind of tackled him at the end of the play. Schweitzer really has impressed. He's played both guard positions. He probably factors into being on the football team as one of those backup guards, swing down on either side.
2nd and 26. That's kind of a wounded duck out to the side here. I don't know if that was tipped or not. McKissick was an intended receiver.
Yeah, I think that got batted at the line of scrimmage. Sims trying to get the ball to McKissick on the deep comeback route.
Good look
job
at it.
with good job with his eyes, and then there's the
Yep.
big left hand comes up there and bats it away. Looked like Ryan Davis maybe on the edge rushing. Well, these are your calls you love as a coordinator. 3rd and 25.
Well, run the draw, and the draw gets you a little more room for the punter.
Yeah, there's nothing in the playbook for that.
You had a play, you hand it to Gerald Riggs.
You know, that helped. That worked just about every time I did it. You know, Gerald made some of the best 4- and 5-yard runs for me I've ever seen. He'd get hit 2 yards deep in the backfield to get about 5 or 6 yards for us.
Unbelievable.
All-time leading rusher in Falcon history. Banner hanging from the Georgia Dome.
Good chance, sorry, Arch, good chance for Bosher to work on the dropping it inside the 20 here.
Yeah. Anytime you get these special team opportunities, these are moments for guys covering. They're trying to make the team.
Brian Walters forced to give the fair catch signal at the 11-yard line. Brian Poole and Josh Johnson getting into it a little bit there near the top of your screen. A 42-yard punt from Bosher. There we go. There's
G.
G. We call him G. Good guy. There's G's banner.
He was a 235-pound battering ram out of Arizona State. Came in William Andrews, who was one of the preeminent backs in the league at the time, and Williams' jersey hanging in the rafters as well. But Gerald came at the right time, and at one point they had both those guys healthy at the same time. And boy, you talk about a tandem of backs now. They would bludgeon you to death, those two guys.
From the 12. Allen, who's gone all the way under center for Jacksonville. Handoff to Corey Grant. And he's up. He might have got half a yard. I was thinking about William this week, but it wasn't a thought inspired by something good. When I heard about Teddy Bridgewater, a non-contact, terrible knee injury, that's what happened to William Andrews in practice.
I pitched him the ball. Unbelievable little, we called it 80 truck. It was a toss play to the outside, just flipped the ball to William Andrews, and we were just running offense against air. Nobody defensive. He put his right foot in the ground and destroyed his right knee. But what an amazing Falcon he was, and one of the best teammates I ever had.
2nd and 10 here for Allen. Lots of flags.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
Here's how the evening's gone for Mr. Allen and Jacksonville.
Yeah, had the good drive, the 10-play, 75-yard drive that ended in the Allen to Evans touchdown pass. But since then, not a lot going on. In fact, 30 yards of offense in their last 3 series. So the Falcon defense is buckled down. They give kudos to Joey Imbu, who made a really nice play a couple plays ago in that deep tackle spot.
Draw play, Jacksonville. And that's awfully close to a 1st down. That play got a lot more by Corey Grant than it looked at first like he'd be able to get.
It's the 2nd time on the draw play. Get the tackle out in front. Does a good job of knifing through some missed tackles by the Falcons. That will not please their head football coach, Dan Quinn, who wants you to maximize your opportunity when you get a chance to tackle. But another big play on a draw play on a long yardage situation.
We mentioned the newcomer, Deshaun Golson. He is getting some snaps tonight. He's still in the lineup for the Falcons, and we're approaching the 2-minute mark here in the 2nd quarter. Allen outside, batted down, line of scrimmage. Looked like Tyler Starr got it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Randy. Tyler Starr rushing off that left side for the Falcons. Got the hands in the air and batted it away.
Well, you mentioned the performance defensively here in the last 3 Jacksonville possessions or so. There's a lot of guys on these Falcon defensive units we're seeing fighting for their football lives.
Tyler Starr, you're right. Tyler Starr, South Dakota, was a prolific sacker at that level of college football, and just has not equated yet at this level in his 3rd year.
Nick Williams, again, back deep for the Falcons, and again, a booming, high, deep punt by Nordman. Backpedaling at the 15. Williams sidesteps 1 tackler, make it 2. Going for the sideline, has the sideline, and has the 40-yard line, or nearly that, by the time he goes out of bounds. Nick Williams, he earned himself some points there before Shaq Evans could take him out of bounds. And that'll give us a chance to take a break after the 65-yard punt and 25-yard return. Penalty on the previous play gives Atlanta 5 more yards. SunTrust moments that matter shines a light on the food and beverage announcement in the new stadium that's proven to be a real game changer.
one of the key areas of concern throughout really stadiums and arenas is food and beverage. So what you'll see is very unique pricing, and the pricing is a way to say thank you.
Back at the Georgia Dome, where the Falcons have a 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line.
Cool
I'm hungry now. Art.
Yeah, but how cool is that to know that you're moving into this multi, 1.7 billion or whatever it is stadium, and you're going to be able to get food at the proper price where you're not going to break the bank. I think that's really a cool opportunity for all the fans.
Sims has to step up and now step away from the pressure, sliding near the first down. Not quite there, I don't think, but nice mobility shown by Matt Sims there.
Well, Sims just going to see the opening. Got a little pressure that ran past him. Yeah, step through and pick up 8 yards.
To the outside, looked like it almost surprised Ward, who turned around and caught it before going out of bounds with 1:22 to go.
Well, he wasn't supposed to be there, and Nick Williams is telling him he wasn't supposed to be there. But hey, you know what? If the ball comes your way, catch it. But he and Nick Williams were in a similar area on the field, and a little discussion there between running back and receiver. I think they got that ironed out. But catch it if it comes your way. Good job by Teron to catch the ball.
All in all, a first down. Ward again in the backfield to the left of Sims. 1:22 and clock moving now. Sims deep left side. Is that McKissick? Oh, I believe it is. J.D. just got it done.
Let me tell you something. If you start talking about making the football team now, these are the guys. Nick Williams, Aldrick Robinson, and this guy, J.D. McKissick, does an excellent job of saving room along the sideline and then goes to get the football. The key there was he got up the field and saved that room for Sims to be able to fade into the sideline. He made the catch and kept the feet in bounds. Nice play by the rookie.
Great job dragging that right foot to make sure he got down in bounds. Here's Ward on the draw, spinning, 10-yard line, going for the first down. Wanted a little more, but I think he'll be satisfied. At least the offense will with getting that 1st and goal.
Well, and he tweaked the ankle right at the end of this, too. Remember, this is a guy that's been struggling with an ankle sprain. What an excellent move. But watch at the end of this. See, he just kind of goes down at the end. So, boy, the battle of attrition at running back. Teron Ward had some really good moments a year ago for the Falcons as a rookie, filling in when Freeman and Coleman were on the bench, but he's really struggled with his left ankle.
There he is, who really, really impressed in camp and then earned that job last year. I think they may be coming out to make sure they get a look at him. Went right to look at Teron Ward. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Rashaan Ali is going to give us a closer look at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll have some first half highlights, take a look at those, and we'll chat with Falcons president and CEO Rich McKay, whose knowledge of league-wide issues is unsurpassed in this business.
Yeah, a little surprised that we've been able to keep him as long as we have. Mr. Blank obviously is excited to have Rich McKay as his president and CEO, but I know the league has tried to steal him 2 or 3 times. He is one of those top individuals in the league.
33 seconds on the clock here. McKissick, who made the big play to get the ball down there, and it wasn't quite a first down. It's 2nd and less than a yard here for the Falcons. And this is McKissick again, down near the goal line, hugging it, holding it, and that's a 1st and goal.
In traffic, these are the kind of catches that impress a coach. You can catch the fun ones that are over the shoulder, but can you catch a contested ball in traffic with a safety getting ready to drop the hammer on you?
Nick Marshall.
The answer for JD is yes.
Nick Marshall burned on back-to-back plays there by McKissick.
Well, that, I would lean more on the really good throw by Sims to the inside. Watch where this ball's placed now. Marshall in pretty good position. McKissick's job is get to the inside and present your number so the quarterback can throw you the ball. Well thrown ball to the inside, and then a contested catch with Marshall coming over the top and the safety coming in to try to drop the hammer on him, Wilson. That's a good catch. Back-to-back big-time catches for McKissick. We saw Aldrick Robinson do the same thing in the first quarter. Now McKissick getting his. What a battle going on at that receiver spot.
Tight formation, exception one receiver out to the right, and it's Ward trying to get the touchdown but a flag down on the play. Now, he's into the end zone, but what's the call here?
That's usually that offside penalty, is it, defensively? That's usually on the defense or in the neutral zone or something.
Well, there were 14 seconds on the clock when the play started. It says 8 now.
Offside. Defense.
Oh, you got
Number 95. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Now, good job by Teron Ward sucking it up. You can see him limping a little bit as he's coming to the sideline, but he knows that there's nobody else on the sideline to carry the ball. Just good, solid push up front, going to come straight ahead. Ward just looking for some daylight and got right there behind Big Tom Compton and leaned in. His second touchdown on the night. Good push by that Falcon offensive line, and good job of Teron Ward making himself small. Find that small hole to get in there.
Matt Bryant again for the extra point. And Bryant, I loved it. I think earlier this week, some folks have questioned whether he'd be healthy enough to go. He tweeted out, "It ain't over yet."
No, he's been sleeping in some space capsule at his house. I think that he's been trying to get that good oxygen. Good job by Teron Ward, and he was doing that knowing that ankle's bothering him a little bit, sucking it up, trying to get in the end zone for his team.
6 plays, 55 yards in a little over a minute and a half. Ward capping the drive that was highlighted by a couple of sims. That quarterback sitting right there, too, J.D. McKissick. Big plays. And the offense has gotten better and better as the half's worn on.
Yeah, those 2 opening drives, just 14 yards on 6 plays. But after that, they've begun to get it rolling a little bit. Had the one drive that started in Jacksonville territory that didn't result in anything. The ball came off Hooper's hands and was an interception. But I've been impressed with Matt Sims as well. The ball is, he's thrown some 2 catchable balls that have been picked off. Didn't bother him a bit, came right back in, shooting the ball down the field. He's had Aldrick Robinson and J.D. McKissick make a couple of big catches for him, and he's got a nice percentage there going, and he's directed a couple of really good drives for touchdowns.
Bosher with 10 seconds showing on the first half clock. Deep into the end zone, and Josh Johnson is coming out with it. Slipping down, leaving the ball on the ground. It's picked up and taken back by, I believe that's Devontae Johnson. Yes, it is. But flags all over the place.
Yeah, this is all going to be on the offense, the return team, the flags. So Atlanta's going to get the ball in great field position. Now the question is, does Quinn kick a field goal, or do you take a shot right here with Matt Sims?
It all depends on what you want to work on. I'd say maybe take the shot.
Remember, Matt Bryant going to kick in the first half, Shane Graham in the second half, so you probably give Matt Bryant the chance to kick another one right here.
During the return, holding number 87 of the return team. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is Atlanta's ball, 1st and goal.
Josh Johnson just flat out laid the ball on the rug.
Yeah, this is, he's never hit. I don't believe anybody even gets around him. He just is carrying it pretty loose, and he slips and falls, and the ball just pops out. And Atlanta right there. Looked like maybe, was that Devontae Johnson?
Yes, it was.
33.
Yep.
Devontae Johnson is up with a recovery, and so Matt Bryant going to get a little gift here, get one more shot to put some more points on the board. I think the Matt's going to kick here in the first half, and then we'll see Shane Graham kick in the second half. So this makes a ton of sense for Coach Quinn to go ahead and let him go out there and kick one.
Like a 27-yard attempt from Bryant from the left hash. Snap, spot, and good as gold. Matt Bryant adds 3 more for the Falcons as the clock hits 0. That means that's the end of the first half with the score. Falcons up 17-7. Coming up at halftime, closer look at the brand new stadium. How you can buy your very own seat, have access to soccer games and other big events. And we'll sit down with Rich McKay watching Atlanta Falcons on Atlanta CW. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Falcons leading by 10 at the half. Randy Waters along with Dave Archer. Glad now to be joined by Falcons President and CEO Rich McKay, who is a person who has been involved with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium project before there was ever a hole dug, a screw turned, a nail hammered, any of that. Long time before that. So today must have been pretty good for you, Rich, as far as something that happened over there at that construction site today.
Progress. Put our first seats in today and brought a family in that really kind of show what the stadium's all about, which is its traditions, it's passing it down. It's Stephen Klee and his parents came. His parents are 1966ers. They had their seats in the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Now his sons have taken over in the Georgia Dome, and now he's bought his PSLs for the new stadium. So it's kind of a little bit of what football is. I mean, I know I come from a football family, and that's what we do. We kind of pass it along, and that's what I think one of the values of. If you hear this phrase PSLs, you forget it's really ownership. I mean, you own the seats, and at that point in time, you can pass it to your kids. You can decide to sell it if you move. There's some real benefits, and I think that's one of the things today. You saw it in a family that has lived it. This is part of their lives.
And a real opportunity to get in for a price that's very affordable. I think that's the misnomer here too, Rich, is that I can't get in. You can get in.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things we needed to do, Arch, and we've got a campaign starting today, and it'll go, which is this campaign called Less Than You Think, just because we need to get rid of that myth of what PSLs are and how expensive they may be. 20% of the seats in the stadium that have PSLs are $750 or less. A $500 PSL is in essence over 10 years about $5 a game. So there's many ways to get in. The one thing we did in the design of the stadium, and it was driven by Arthur, was this idea that we have amenities on every level. So don't look at the upper deck and say, oh, the upper deck. No. There's amenities on the upper deck that we think people on the main concourse will want to go up to the upper deck, whether that's a 100-yard bar, whether that's the sky bridges. There's a lot of things going on up there. Plus, there is this thing called the Halo board, which is 60,000+ square feet of LED that hangs from the opening, which I think your view to that Halo board from the upper deck, pretty good.
Yeah, a total of 91,000 square feet of LED lights and entertainment for the fan.
So a cool thing there on that, Arch, is that's more than twice any stadium in the world. Any stadium in the world. These two boards behind us, which are really cool boards, we put them in an 07, are 4,000 square feet of LED together. Arch's point, 91,000 square feet of LED. A little different.
Let's see if anybody turns the lights on here on a kick return as we begin the third quarter. And that's Nick Williams back in the back line of the end zone. That is somewhat astounding, Rich, than any other stadium in the world.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of firsts. I mean, this will be a LEED Platinum Stadium. What does that mean? It means from a sustainability standpoint, you're doing all the right things. That's a credit to Arthur, and we brought Scott Jenkins in, who, as the stadium GM, and he's helped us get to that platinum level, which from a sustainability standpoint is, we weren't sure we could ever achieve it. Now we've achieved it, and I think that will, that bodes well. That's a first, not done anywhere else in the NFL.
So Matt Sims at quarterback. J.D. McKissick, a couple of big catches there in the first half, out wide to the right as the Falcons start from the 25. At least we hope they start, because we have just had play stop for the moment.
Might have forgot to take the tee off the field.
No, the tee was still on the field.
Here lies one of the problems.
Yeah.
Hunter McKay no longer here.
No.
Hunter used to run out and get the tee.
Hunt was guaranteed on that, and every once in a while he would just slow down on purpose just so you'd make sure you saw him. But no Hunt tonight.
Yeah, Hunt running the show just north of the city now.
On the run.
Matt Sims had a really good first half, and what's sad is you can go and look at the box score, and you see 2 INTs, both of which are tip balls, right? Yeah. But people go look at that box score. He played pretty well.
Rich, you were a long-time, big-time guy as far as selecting teams and putting teams together. You've got bubble guys all over the field here, especially when you look at the wide receiver core. Aldrich Robbins had a pretty good first half. So did J.D. McKissick. Nick Williams trying to make a case for being on the team. Tough decisions.
Yeah, I think, Thomas and Dan, first of all, you're not looking at tonight means something, but every practice has meant something. As you know, every OTA meant something, so there's so much that goes into this in advance. But tonight, there's a lot of bubble guys for not just the 53, but for the 10 that are called the practice squad. And so this is game 4 to me. I've always liked. I don't like game 1. It's the one game of the preseason that scares me. Game 4 is, I think, a great game because it's the most important game of probably 15 to 20 players' lives. And that's really, impactful. I mean, it's a really impactful game for their lives and their careers. And they take it that way. It's important.
Well, I mean, the league and HBO and the NFL Films have made a franchise out of the drama of what we're watching unfold in front of us here tonight. Now, Sims has to scramble. That was a 3rd and 10, so the Falcons will be forced to punt it away. Of course, your competition committee knowledge of what goes on there, I was curious, was there any discussion about not making the 33-yard extra point permanent as was done this year?
So, Randy, it was hard. It took us 10 years to get that passed, 10 years to get that voted in. It got voted in for 1 year, and then this year we went back to vote on it again, and we voted it in permanently without a dissenting vote. So, no, it was well received. The numbers were very good. It ended up being 94% made. Wow, that could have been a big-time hit. And so I think it's worked out very well. We've tried to make the play competitive as opposed to just ceremonial the way it was before.
Corey Washington, I think, was that first guy flying down there, but there's a flag on that play.
I don't know how that wasn't a clip. Corey Washington, a guy that might get a chance here, Randy, tonight. I know you know this, Rich. He might get a chance to play some defensive back tonight as well. He's played some receiver here in the first half. I know Coach Quinn was thinking about using him some at DB as well. Big-time frame at 6'4", very athletic.
Unsportsmanlike conduct by the receiving team, number 43, went out of bounds and blocked the kicking team player. 15 yards from the end of the kick. It's Jacksonville's ball, first down.
Rich, as we continue to discuss Mercedes-Benz Stadium and talking about fan experience, and I think it's amazing to be able to put a building like that together and then still have all the bells and whistles and the fan experience that really was at the forefront of everything you thought about.
Yeah, so I think that, Arthur, he pushed on us that we're trying to completely change the game in stadium design, right? And in all the elements that go into a stadium. But I think the last piece of it, and as important as any, and Steve Cannon's come in as Arthur's CEO of A&B Group and really emphasize it, the last piece of it's the most important piece, which is the customer. And the fact that you can do all the design you want, but if you don't give them the experience that they deserve, and you don't change the game that way, then you know what? We haven't achieved everything we want. So it starts with, for us, simple things like concessions. I mean, our concessions announcement where we announced the pricing, announced our concepts, that's a real game changer. Now we have to execute behind it, but that's a game changer. But all those things go into the obsession with the fan experience.
Sherrod Niesman the tackle after the completion to Brian Walters, so it's 2nd and 5 here for Jacksonville.
How many guys, Rich, generally, and this is a general comment or question, how many guys are generally on the bubble in a game like this for a team and make a club?
So I think on the 53, generally that number would be about 3. So that 3 means it's 6 players, right? So it's not just 3 players, it's 6 players. It's 3 going one way and 3 going the other way. So that's 6. But then I think when you look at the practice squad, you've got a lot of players on the bubble because remember, the practice squad can come from anybody else's cuts. So you've got a lot of that you've got a lot in the mix that way. We've got a lot of scouts watching games tonight. We'll have a hot list of people that we think might get cut and therefore we consider for practice squad. So this game has a lot of implications that way.
3rd and 3. Falcons defensive unit trying to see if they can take it away again. Had a lot of success doing so, especially in the second quarter for the first half. Allen from the gun. Has time and goes underneath. Tackle made shy of the first down. King, a good tackle on the play, so they'll have to punt it away.
Kind of the epitome of what Coach Quinn wants defensively.
Yeah.
He wants to force the ball out of the quarterback's hands, have it thrown underneath, and
Keep
then sure tackling. Nice play by Akeem King right there.
Well, I mean, it's no secret. They say we play 3 deep. Yeah. A lot of the times, no secret. Here's what we do.
Well, but Dan said coming in that if you can simplify a little bit, you can play faster, and that's one of the things that you saw there. You play fast, and things happen good. The thing you don't want to do is confuse players, and I think he's done a really good job of simplifying the scheme that way and letting them play to their abilities.
Fair catch by Nick Williams. We'll take a break, but we don't want you to go anywhere. We want you to stick around. Rich got some more topics to discuss with you after this. 5, Matt Sims still running the offense, and Teron Ward still running the ball. Flag down as he gets to the 45, about the 45.5-yard line. We'll see what the call is.
I don't like that. That's where
Yeah,
Corey
I feel that's
Washington
gonna
might
be
have been
holding.
holding on to somebody.
Yeah.
Which Ron Ward really warrioring up, really, with that ankle, the way it's bothering him. He's trying to fight through it.
You know, he's hurt like on his second run of the game. And
Yeah.
he's, you know, he really has shown a lot of toughness.
Holding. Offense, number 6.
Yeah, you're right. It was
10-yard
Corey,
penalty
rookie
from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
from Newberry College. Rich, I don't want to say it's the fourth quarter or overtime or anything like that if you're looking to buy one of those PSLs, but
Yeah.
there is a somewhat limited window.
Yeah, well, I think the thing about, you know, when you deal with a PSL, right, it's an ownership, right? You own it, it's yours. But the other thing is they get sold, and then you're not in. So it's really a 30-year decision, and I hope it's one that a lot of people, we have a lot of fans. I mean, we live in a great community. 6 million people live in or near the metro. A lot of Falcon fans. This is a one-time opportunity, and we hope that everybody considers it, looks at it. We've got, you know, Mercedes-Benz-Stadium.com, which will give them all the information they need. And then come out and you want to tour the building? We do tours on Saturday. You want to see it? You want to walk it? You want to look at a seat?
Holding.
Do that.
Offense, number
We have
68.
plenty of ways to
10-yard
look at
penalty.
it.
Replay first down.
And then I think what Arthur did and challenged us to make sure that the reason that the building is 70,000 plus is because we wanted to give everybody access. That's why there's so many different price points that you can get into. There's so many of these new buildings got designed to be 63,000 or 62,000 and became more premium experiences. We tried to make this an everybody experience and put amenities on every level for every price point and give plenty of capacity. So we do hope that everybody gives it a look and then and makes a decision and realize it's a long-term decision. It's a one-time opportunity.
On the 1st and 20 after another penalty. Here's Ward into the middle of the line. I do want to ask you another quick thing about the rules.
Yeah.
The horse collar rule, changing it from having to be completely up at the top and inside between the pads, and if you're up there anywhere around that, now it's
still
horse
the
collar.
nameplate, right, Randy?
Yeah.
Still the backside, not
Yep.
the front side. So what was happening is we had a lot of calls last year where it was really the grabbing of the nameplate. It wasn't, they didn't get their hand inside, but we called it. So we really didn't get the call right, but we got the result right because the guy could have been hurt from that move.
Yes.
So we just wanted to make the rule reflect the way we were calling it. It always makes Mondays better for the football. What a good throw.
Oh, and Corey Washington caught it, stayed on his feet, down inside the 30.
Yeah, this is that throw in the hole versus cover 2, and a really good job of Sims seeing it and getting it out on time. Safety can close. Usually the man can travel a little bit quicker than that, quicker than the ball. And a really good job of Sims seeing it quickly. See, the half safety right here going to be out, so you keep him in the middle of the field with your eyes and then shoot it to the outside. Corner's playing up, so the safety has to make that play. Really love the way Sims got the ball out of his hands, and Rich McKay saw that right away. He made that read. He made that throw.
It was a young Arch throw. That's what it was. It was a young Arch throw. I don't know that Arch could give us that today.
There's no question I could give it to
It was a 43-yard gain, and now here goes young Matt Sims. Looking a little bit like young. Oh, don't drop the ball, young man.
Might want to run out of bounds there.
Might want to do that. It does say QB beside your name, Matt, so go ahead and run out of bounds.
I know there's no raw data out yet, but anything you've heard from the league about how the kickoff thing has
moving
worked
it to
out, 25, and then more kicks?
So far, we've had more returns this year than last year in preseason, 59% versus 55%. However, 2 years ago in 14, we had more returns then than we had this year. So I don't think we're as concerned about it. Listen, we wanted to try it. College football has done it. What we're trying to do is tell the guy that is 8 yards deep, take a knee. Okay, if you're 8 yards deep, take a knee. You get the ball to 25. Don't come charging out. It's a play where the injury rate per play is the highest we have in football. It's a play that we think we can keep in the game forever, but we're going to have to continue to evolve it. I think you're going to see us in the future change the way the blocking schemes are regulated, maybe change the way people line up, but still keep the kickoff in the game. We think it is a part of the game, and we want to honor that history of the game, but we've got to continue to try to make that play safer.
No, it's certainly worth all the experimentation because there's some who say, hey, take it out of the game. But Not now. Not at this point. I can't see.
Randy, that's right. We got to try, right? We got to take the effort. And I think we've dealt with college football. We've been dealing with them and their statistics and our statistics, and talking about some changes that we might make at the same time. And so we feel comfortable about where the kickoff will go.
Well, and I'm not sure there's a play that lights a building up more than a guy taking a kickoff back for touchdown. We saw it here in week 1 of the preseason with J.D. McKissic.
We did.
It's a 2nd and 11 now. Ward has come out. You can tell he's gutting it out. He was limping a little bit going to the sideline. McKissic is wide left. You got Williams and Weems to the right.
Got a one-on-one matchup right up here with McKissic.
Looked that way initially, going to the end zone for Hooper, and it's incomplete.
Got man coverage, took a shot at his young tight end. I like that he keeps going back to Austin Hooper, because Austin's let him down a couple times, a couple of tip balls that have been intercepted, but he's still trying to fill up the young man, and I think he's going to be a really good tight end here for years to come. He's the kind of guy that understands coverage. He can kind of pinball himself around, bang off people, and get open. Just got to catch some of those contested catches, which I think he'll get to. Rich, real quickly on the stadium, how close? Everything progressing the way you guys wanted it to?
Yes.
End date, perfect.
Arch, it's a complicated building, but yes, it's going very well. The steel is going up and going up well. We should be done with the steel, hopefully in the next, let's say, 30 days. Then you can begin to work on the lower bowl. You go in there now, you're seeing suites completed, you're seeing in the upper concourse a lot of work done, you're seeing seats put in. And there's a lot going on. It's a big project, but yeah, we feel very comfortable with the open date, and we're excited about it. I think it's a really, really cool project. Don't think for a minute, though, that our focus isn't on the 2016 season. We're all about football. We're all about winning football games. We're all about establishing traditions and traditions that carry from this stadium into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And so, that's what we want to do. We want to win football games, but by the same token, we've got a once-in-a-lifetime here. We think we can build something that changes the game, and we just want a lot of Falcon fans to come along with us, because the one thing we don't ever want to do is to have to lose people that this has been a part of their lives. We want them to stay with us. But we'll see. We're excited. We're excited about the building, excited about the prospects.
Well, and stay tuned to what's going on here at the Georgia Dome in its final season, because I know you guys got some really cool stuff that's going to go throughout the season to celebrate how cool a building this place has been.
We do. I mean, it's 1992. The building opened. First year I was ever in the NFL, so I've been coming here every year since it opened, and it's a great building, served us very well. We think Mercedes-Benz Stadium can carry on that legacy and take it even to another level.
Thank you very much for stopping by for the visit. Shane Graham was wide to the left. Rich, always appreciate your insight.
Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate you helping us.
Back after this. Back meeting on the sideline involving the 3 Matts. By the way, that was not another Matt Bryant kicking. It was Shane Graham, as I mentioned.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity. Graham came in last week and kicked when Bryant couldn't go, and we let Nick Rose go, the youngster, and Graham kicked well last week, but you can't miss one of those short ones when you're battling for a job.
No question. Brandon Allen still at quarterback. He's gone all the way, faked, and then went down the left sideline. That was a little bit behind the intended receiver, Shaq Evans.
Yeah, Jalen Collins covering, and now we know Jalen Collins is going to be gone for the first.
Offense, number 61, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
For the first 4 weeks of the season, we know the PED suspension puts Jalen Collins on the suspended list for the first 4 weeks. He factors in prominently in the corners. In fact, he's probably the 3rd corner on this team. He, Robert Alford, and Desmond Trufant are those 3 guys that will play that position in a nickel set. So Atlanta searching to find out who's going to be that guy with Collins on the shelf for 4 weeks, and it's an interesting battle, no question about it. But Collins trying to get as much play time as he can get in, because he actually has to leave the premises, Randy, after this game's over.
Looked like a little confusion as the Falcons were trying to align defensively on a 1st and 20 for Jacksonville. Allen turned. Now turns and hands to Grant, who has the corner up the sideline and then is leveled by Robinson Therese. Oh, and a flag.
Well, and I'm not sure why the flag. No, I guess maybe a taunting flag here, maybe, because a lot of Falcons came over to celebrate on the hit. It wasn't on the hit. This is post-hit flag. We've seen Therese with an interception tonight, and he just dropped the hammer coming from the safety spot right here. Another guy battling to try to make the club.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting by the defense, number 27. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Results in a first down.
Well, I think you're going to see at the end of the hit, I think we've got it for you, where Therese stands over the top of his fallen victim, if you will. Now watch him stand over the top of him right there. That's where the taunt comes, I guess. I think it's kind of a cheap call, be honest with you. I didn't think there was a lot going on there. He stepped away. Come on, man. There's a lot of emotion tied up in this game. That is a big-time hit right there by Robinson Therese.
He didn't exactly get down to eye level with him or whatever, but it is a penalty.
Another good play again this time, Randy, by we talked about Malachi Goodman, number 54, who's been around and played out of Clemson, late round draft pick a few years ago. He's really played with a fire in his belly tonight. He's been in the backfield a lot tonight. He's forced the play a different direction. He's made a couple plays himself, just trying to show up on tape, because you can bet, and we heard Rich McKay talk about how many scouts are watching this game from other teams. He's not a Falcon. Certainly making a case to be somewhere in the National Football League.
Malachi wearing 54, used to wear 93. Some guy named Freeney got that number when he signed on. And here's Allen. That is complete. Akeem King trying to hang on and does so, but looks like it's a first down. Now, we've talked a little bit about different guys in the secondary tonight, and here's the situation, Arch. As you said, jobs on the line.
Yeah, this guy's hurt, and this guy's going to be suspended, so you won't see either one of those guys for the first 3 weeks of the season. Keanu Neal coming back from the knee injury. So someone over here is going to make the team that's on that bubble spot. And there's a lot of battles going on. I think Brian Poole is a guy the team likes a lot. C.J. Goodwin, the really cool story, former wide receiver, now a DB. You've got Deshaun Golson, who's come in because of the injuries at safety. Parms has had a very good camp as well. Number 40 at safety has made some noise.
Joe Banyard is in the grasp right there of the aforementioned Malachi Goodman.
Boy, Joey Mbu really got some good pressure. He's still down on the field trying to get up off the field. The big fella is not going to be able to get up. Big Joey Mbu plays that one technique. And Malachi Goodman on the play as well.
Now they're checking on Joey, and season broadcast is sponsored in part by Georgia Lottery. You can't win if you don't play. And by Northside Hospital, a lifetime of care. 4 ticks under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Joey Mbu, the second-year guy, came in as a free agent, college free agent last year, receiving some attention to the left hand on the Falcons sideline. The 2nd and 11 now for Brandon Allen and his offense. There's a tight end, Sterling, in motion. Allen retreating, throwing, completing. That is caught by Rashad Lawrence for a first down.
And a late flag comes in as well. So again, Brandon Allen loses ground, makes a nice throw there.
Yeah, and some good mustard on that one for being a guy who was retreating at the time.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense. Number 64, 15 yards from the end of the play. The down counts. It's 1st and 10 Jacksonville.
That's the old pile cleaner block. Chris Reed, one of those linemen. They don't get downfield very often, but here he comes. He's going to come in. This is what you call a pile cleaner, folks. See, everybody's on top of the defender. He's going to come in, and he's going to get somebody. Boom.
Oh, he got Tyler Starr.
Tyler Starr.
Tyler seeing stars.
You know who's the
after
best?
That blindside job.
We had some guys. Harvey Dahl, who played for the Falcons a few years ago. He might have been the best at that without getting that call. He could pile clean. We used to talk about he would block to the back edge of the whistle, maybe even the echo of the whistle, but he would clean some people off. Robinson Therese headed to the locker room as well. Threesy's had a nice night. Big hit, had an interception.
Oh my, safety's an endangered species at the moment, is it not? Here's Allen. That's a rope. That's a nice throw down to the 31-yard line to Rashad Lawrence.
Atlanta in zone coverage and a good job. Tyler Stardust did not get wide enough to take away that what essentially is an underneath throw with a receiver clearing on the outside. And a really good throw again by Allen. I've been very impressed by the rookie from Arkansas. He's played good.
It's like Sherrod Niesman in there at safety in place of Threesy. As we mentioned, Deshaun Goldson getting a lot of snaps here tonight. He's still in the Falcons defensive lineup. On a first down play for Jacksonville, underneath, open is Corey Grant. Leroy Reynolds had him and couldn't quite hold him. So that's going to be a couple yards shy, maybe 3 of a first down.
These are plays that when you see Leroy Reynolds miss that tackle, those are the plays that you're expecting Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell, why they were drafted to make these plays. Atlanta plays a lot of zone coverage, meaning 4-man rush, 7 in coverage, looking at the quarterback when the ball's dropped off. They want sure tackling, and that time Leroy Reynolds was not able to make that play.
We've been really excited about Reynolds' special teams play. Just a tackle there. 2nd and 3, a first down and more for Grant. Gets down, well, might be inside there. They're going to mark it right on the 15-yard line. So another first down for Jacksonville on this drive as we're under 2 minutes in the third quarter.
It's a group of players on the field for the Falcons defensively now. That's these guys are all trying to make a mark, and can't emphasize that enough. That we heard Rich McKay talk about how scouts from all over the league are in here watching these games. They're watching all the other games as well. There's scouts distributed across the league. Atlanta has their scouts out looking at people as well. So these guys are all trying to make some kind of a name for themselves so they can play football for a living.
Grant spins away from a tackler inside the 5. Young man from Auburn getting some rave reviews on that move, I guess, in the video room. Matt Wells finally made the tackle.
Well, Corey Grant is a guy that has made some noise in Jacksonville camp. We talk about T.J. Yeldon, Denard Robinson, Joe Banyard. They love him as a specialty. Corey Grant has really turned a lot of heads, not only running the ball, but playing special teams. He's trying to scratch out an opportunity to play.
Wells is having to come off. That's the 10th play of the drive. And Wells is off, and Philip Wheeler coming on in his place. There's Matt Wells. Out of Mississippi State, of course, Wheeler, familiar to local fans. Played his college football right up the road at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Philip was an excellent pickup a year ago for the Falcons mid-season. And Falcons had some injuries. Justin Durant had gone down with injury. They needed somebody who could come in and run at the linebacker spot. And I think Wheeler's first game he played, he led the team in tackles, and he did not start the game. But he's been a veteran guy that's come in, plays hard, doesn't say anything, just does his job. And I think he's going to be one of the probably 6 linebackers that this team keeps after the cutdown.
Indianapolis, Oakland, Miami, his stops in the league before here. 36 seconds on the clock in the third quarter. And here's Grant trying to make something out of nothing, but it's still nothing when you look at it.
The aforementioned Philip Wheeler.
Yeah.
That's good timing by Philip. We talk about him. He makes a play. He and Damian Parms in on the tackle.
Now here comes Goldson back in. He lost his hat a couple of plays ago. Nearing the end of the third quarter, looks like we will not see another play before the quarter is over. So the Falcons still up on top here by a score of 17-7. We'll return to the Georgia Dome after these messages. You're watching Atlanta Falcons football on Atlanta's CW. By the way, Thomas Dimitrov will join us in the fourth. There's a story you can see at the bottom of your screen. Falcons with 17 second quarter points, still leading 17-7, but Jacksonville, as we begin this fourth quarter, knocking on the door. They have a 2nd and 5 at the 5. Brandon Allen, the former Arkansas Razorback, still at quarterback, been there all night. Aurelius Ben, former Buck and Eagle as well. Here's a quick slant inside to Shane Wynn for the touchdown by Jacksonville. So First play, fourth quarter, Jacksonville gets on the board as Allen throws the TD pass.
Yeah, neat little stack play they have here. It looks like Brandon Allen signaling that they want to go for 2 here. Jacksonville looks like they're going to keep their offense on. A little stack play here, try to sort it out. It's actually kind of a pick play as Walter Reese has stayed up the field. He kind of picks off the defender there for the Falcons. Devontae Johnson, the corner, is picked on the play, and it's one of those ones where you don't quite run into him. You just kind of stand in his way by Walter, and a good throw by Allen.
Going for 2, as Arch said. Allen from the gun. Fade to the corner, back shoulder throw, and it's a 2-point conversion to Neil Sterling. Tight end out there to make the catch on the 2-point conversion by Jacksonville. Take a look here.
Well, perfectly described. Just back shoulder, tough on the DB because you're in the hip pocket right there, but a well-thrown ball.
Collins tried to defend, but Jacksonville converts. And when we come back, General Manager Thomas Dimitroff joins us here in the booth at the Georgia Dome. Jacksonville quarterback Brandon Allen on the sideline after taking his team on an 11-play, 78-yard drive. Took 6 minutes and 13 seconds. And with the 2-point conversion has narrowed this to a 17-15 game with the Falcons still in the lead. Nick Williams had to go to the back of the end zone to get that one, so the Falcons will get it at the 25 when we come back. GM Thomas Dimitroff alongside. It's Falcons football, and it's Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff here between Dave Archer and me. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I think there are some young men on the field tonight who have made your job even more difficult when you look at cutting down the roster tomorrow and after.
You guys spoke of this earlier. Everyone knows they do the addition and subtraction when they're looking at the roster. I'm talking the players. And they know who's on the line. They know who's on the bubble. And we've had some guys out here competing their butts off, and it's been fun to watch. Teron Ward, you know, both Williams and McKissick, they're competing like crazy. So it's fun to watch that.
Ward especially. I mean, this first action, you can tell the ankle's a little bit gimpy. He's just gutting it out.
Well, you know, we brought Will Rattel back in to be the guy who's going to tote the rock tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to play Ward 10 plays, and now Ward's just, I mean, it's admirable what he's done tonight.
Falcons ball on the 25 after the touchback. There's the pitch, McKissick. Ooh, using him right there. Not at receiver, but guy taking the pitch. Arch mentioned tonight, he said, this guy can do some things.
Well, and you know, Thomas, this is one on the sideline said, okay, this is where you line up, JD.
Yeah.
And this is where we're going to toss you the ball. Okay, that's one that you drop in the sand right there.
That's exactly what they did. And again, we're down running backs, and whoever has to step up has to step up. Again, he's a very competitive kid. You've seen him in practices.
Well, this is something that endears him to both general manager standing next to me and his coach, be willing to do whatever it takes to help his team try to win a game.
There's Sims on the boot and on the move. Don't get a first down, but sliding out of bounds. And notice, you know, Arch pointed out previously when Matt Sims got close to the sidelines, he didn't go out. I think he learned a lesson.
Yeah, when you get banged around, you learn it. Thomas, when you look at this roster, when you come in, you've got 75 guys on your roster. How close are you to having an idea what that 53 looks like?
This last game, obviously, there are tweaks to be made. A lot of times you have a pretty strong feeling of where you are, but we've seen it historically. Guy has a big game, a lot of receptions, big runs. You know, here's Sims playing a heck of a game as a quarterback, making things happen. Those guys can work themselves into roster spots.
3rd and 6. Trying to convert for the first here after the scramble. And that's to Ward. Makes one tackler miss, but cannot get away from the second before going out of bounds. So they'll have to punt it away. Matt Bosher will come on.
This has been a group offensively that has moved the ball some and shown some promise. And I know that offensive line is another area that you're looking to try to add depth or keep depth. I think you have a pretty good idea who the first 5 are, but the rest of the depth is something you're looking at as well.
Oh, this is the time we're looking at to see how they can move the ball. Doesn't matter who they're playing against. If they're playing against the 3s or the 4s of the other team, it's to see how they work together. It's to see their resilience, and you've seen that tonight with this offense. I'm really impressed how they've been moving it.
At the 20. Win. 30, 35, and out of bounds. So that's where Jacksonville will take over. We'll keep Thomas Dimitroff right here alongside. And couple personnel questions for you when we come back. Back at the Georgia Dome, GM Thomas Dimitroff with us here alongside Dave Archer and yours truly, Randy Waters. Thomas, when you do cut a person, do you learn something about him and about your organization as well by their reaction and what they say?
We have had so much unbelievable feedback from the players after Dan has released them, and we're in there, and they are just lauding Dan for his approach, making football fun again for them.
Allen got rid of it to Banyard. He makes Harms, and I believe Wheeler missed. No, it was Matt Wells out there.
I don't know if I've ever been around that where every one of the 75 cuts, 75 cut down that we had, we're so positive about what Dan is and what his approach is that he has complete buy-in from this team. It is so impressive to see that. He is so authentic with these guys. They believe in him, and it's just amazing to hear the feedback from him.
1st and 10 on the 48 after the catch and run by Banyard. An offensive line question for you after this play, Thomas. It's kind of generic, not about individual personnel for you. There's Banyard again. My question is, over the years, have you seen the bar be raised to play offensive line in this league because of the passing game? I mean, what, a dozen guys over 4,000 yards last year. And it's fascinating. I mean, the Colts, I think, spent 4 of their 8 picks on offensive line. Hard to find.
Yes, 100%. It's such obviously an important spot. It's protecting, a big-time asset in your quarterback, of course. And interestingly enough, we're not able to develop them the same way we were pre-11, and because of the rule changes, so you really, really have to focus on the players that you think have potential.
Banyard again as Jacksonville stays on the ground on a 2nd and 4.
Thomas, the defensive backfield is going to be a bit of a pain in the rear end for you a little bit when you start talking about the suspension to Collins. We know Keanu maybe not be available for the first couple of weeks of the season potentially. I know he's a quick healer. We would like to see him back, but let's say he's banged up. I mean, that's a tough decision for you back there, and the way you cross-train players to play safety and corners got to help out as well.
That's a big thing. You have to have versatility. That's what this game is about as well. We know that it's a matchup league, yes, but you have to have versatility. That defensive secondary is going to have to pitch in a lot of different ways. We brought in Golston. We're excited about having him and part of the mix. So the secondary is very important for us down the stretch here into the beginning of the season.
Defense trying to get a stop and flags before the play. Defense might have been drawn off.
Number 61 offense. Yep. 3rd down.
When you look at the numbers, I think there's conventional ideas that, okay, you keep 9 of these guys, keep 6 of these guys. This is one of those years where you may have to rob Peter to pay Paul over here because of the injury situation. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it becomes all about being creative with it, right? I mean, sitting down with Dan Quinn and sitting down with, with the coaching staff and Scott Peel and our personnel staff and really trying to hone in on where we can really, insert players that, again, can be versatile. That's a big thing for us.
3rd and 7 after that penalty. That's a nice catch. A very nice catch by Rashad Lawrence.
Really well thrown ball by Brandon Allen, realizing it was a back shoulder throw. Akeem King's in really good position right here. This is just throwing and catching the ball. And sometimes, no matter how good the defense is, the offensive guy is going to win because they just did their job about as good as you can do it. And even though he's sliding to the ground, the ball's so well thrown that there's not much Akeem King could do with that one.
On the 36 of the Falcons. Allen is winging it tonight. Looked like he might get some pressure from the backside, but steps away from it, and Wells escorts him out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
Boy, he did get pressure from Cappy, and he's one of those guys that's kind of flashed in camp out of nowhere, kind of creating pressure.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown a lot of explosiveness, off the mark. He's a fun guy. He's an upbeat guy, and he likes to mix it up. So we'll see. Another guy who's competing strongly for a job. It's just a matter of where the numbers are going to fall.
It's a numbers game, but people say that, but they don't stop to think it's a game about people's lives. So I mean, I know you and Dan and the whole staff take that part of it seriously. There is no question. Banyard is stopped and hit right there, and one of the Falcons looks to be slow to get up. That's Corey Johnson, the rookie from Kentucky.
Kind of a dangerous play there. You see that a lot when 2 defenders run together. Look like Cappy and Johnson running together.
You know the reality of all this when this happens we're in the cut down mode, right, Randy? And then during the next 2 days, if players are injured, you can't just cut a player who's injured, so you have to start talking, injury settlements and such. There's just a lot of stuff going on during the final stages of all of this, unfortunately, when an injury is happening.
Thomas, there's so much talk about guys playing here that they may be able to make it someplace else. They don't make it here. You've got people out looking at other teams as well, correct?
Yeah, we have a lot of people doing the pro work, right, to make sure that we're dialed in on who comes available. Might be a practice squad replacement for us, or even a back-end roster guy. Could be.
3rd and 5. Allen deep, and that's off the hands, off the fingertips of tight end Neil Sterling.
Damian Parms. Nice play. Parms has done some good stuff in camp this year, especially with what's going on at safety. Damian Parms has got to understand that there's a possibility that there might be an opening there for him, and this is a really good play. Understands when the ball arrives, is able to rake at the right arm. Pretty good job by him playing underneath, knowing he had help maybe over the top.
Very good job. He is a tough guy. He works his butt off out there, and I know he knows a number situation as well, but he knows that it could, like that, with an injury, it could provide an opportunity for him.
Jason Myers with a 49-yard field goal attempt, and this is off the mark. That would have given Jacksonville the lead, but the Falcons still lead by Thomas. Thank you so much
for
stopping by. We enjoy your insight. I know you won't get much, but get some sleep tonight before tackling the issues tomorrow.
I will
Good luck,
try.
TD.
Thanks,
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Labor Day holiday a little bit early here. Why not? What the heck? Ball on the 39. Sims handing off. Ward. Boy, that guy has just really, really gutted it out tonight. I'm repeating myself there, I know.
Yeah, Teron's he understands that that opportunity's short, and he knows that Brandon Wiles has played extremely well with his opportunity. Really, with Teron unable to go, Brandon Wiles probably got more snaps, more opportunities, and he took advantage of them. So, turnabout's fair play, I guess, as Wiles is banged up and can't play in this one. So Ward getting extended play, trying to prove that he deserves to be here.
2nd and 8. It's Corey Washington in motion. Pitch, Ward, cut back, up the middle. About 1.5 yards or 2 shy of a first down. Falcons, by the way, need to get this offense back in gear a little bit in this half. Punt, missed field goal, and punt on the possessions.
Well, we're so careful with players when they get banged up, and we know Ward's playing a little banged up right now, but and rightly so. But there is still a toughness part attached to this, and it's not lost on Coach Quinn or anybody else that number 28 is gutting it out right now, because we saw Rattel leave. They played McKissick the last series at running back. They don't really have anybody. So Ward sucking it up the way he is, that means something.
Pass to Nick Williams, got by one defender, Josh Johnson, and up close to midfield before he stopped. That's right at the first down marker. Sean Porter finally took him down.
Yeah, good job by Williams to understand that it wasn't very far to go to the first down, so he couldn't really wait long enough to allow this screen to set up. He needed to get upfield, and he did a nice job to get just enough and move the chains.
Williams showing his experience there for the first down, right at midfield, or maybe a length of the ball shy of midfield. And this is Ward again at about the 45. Let's go down to the sideline. Rashana. Oh. My fault. Penalty on me, Arch.
Get flagged there?
No, they flagged me. Okay, now, hey, second chance in life. Down to Rashawn Ali, down on the sideline with Ricardo Allen.
All right, thank you so much, Randy. Now, recently I read an article about how you've grown as a leader. How have you been able to find your voice?
It really comes from your play. Getting out there and, working hard for your teammates and, letting them see that, you're willing to do it all for them and put it all on the line for them. That's really how you get your respect. And, you can't just go out there and just, tell somebody what to do because you think you can do something. So at first, my first year, my second year being here, I was just quiet and I just worked and I worked. And now people are starting to look up to me and start to follow me.
Well, Coach Quinn says you're very meticulous. And I know that you watch a lot of film. Do you still watch film with your wife?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me about that. What is that like?
you know, sometimes you just come home and we don't feel like going out, and, you know, we look on the TV, there's nothing good on TV, so we're like, man, we better watch some more film. You know, I've been watching film all day at work, but it's another way that we take those time and we take the time to bond. So when I'm out here on the field, she knows what's actually going on.
Right. You think she can coach one day?
Oh, hope so. You know, it's starting to get women, you know, really good coaches, and so hopefully I think she can do it.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, Randy and Arch.
Thank you, Rashawn Ward laid the ball on the carpet. Tyrone Holmes picked it up, so Jacksonville will take over. Under 5 minutes to go, fourth quarter, Atlanta by 2. That has been presented by DraftKings. DraftKings.com, the daily fantasy sports destination. Jaguars football after it was coughed up. Corey Grant, the running back now, behind Brandon Allen, who's been taking the snaps all night. 4:46 when the clock starts on this play for Jacksonville at their 45. There's Grant. Oh, Corey Johnson, the rookie from Kentucky, all over him, but also flags all over the field.
Yeah, unfortunately, he grabbed him around that
horse collar deal.
That horse collar, maybe. Really good play by Grant to blow up.
Now, the referee situation, the normal referee is back, Ron Torbert, but for a while, the line judge, Mark Steinkirchner, right there, was...
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense, number 98, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Well, watch Johnson win here. He's going to win to the inside, and then he reaches up and grabs the back, and that's an area they really wanted to see how the defender falls in the back of the offensive player's legs. They're trying to get that out. We've seen a number of players break lower leg, ankle because of that tackle, so they're trying to take that out. It's a good call. Johnson makes a really good play to penetrate and get in the backfield. Just unfortunately, couldn't wrap him up.
Explain that officiating situation in a moment. Ball is on the 40. Oh, Sims tried, or excuse me, Allen tried and did get away, evidently, after he went down. Norby Cappy got to him.
Cappy hooked him around the ankle, and Brandon Allen limping a little bit. Cappy at the top of your screen, just bull rushes to the inside and then flips that right arm out and knocks Brandon Allen off his feet. Well, that's a nice play, individual play by Cappy.
2nd and 19. Hand off Grant on a 2nd and 19. He got a pretty good chunk on the ground, so they'll be looking at a third down. At any rate, for a few minutes tonight, the referee, Ron Torbert, left the field, but that's because they're simulating an injury situation. In the regular season, if there was an injury to one official, then they got to operate one short. In this case, line judge Mark Steinkirchner took over as the referee, and that's the way they operated for a while.
Not necessarily a bad thing when one of the officials, don't want him hurt, but if we decrease the number of them on the field. Boy, we don't want them hurt, but let's decrease the numbers of them.
Oh, boy, don't get bitter. Don't get bitter, Arch. It's incomplete. Intended for Evans.
I want to go back to Rashawn Ali's interview with Ricardo Allen, and Rico was talking about how his wife watches film with him, and I can tell you that is more the rule than the exception, because I remember watching tape one time, my wife walking by, she says, wow, you didn't see the safety in cover 2 right there as a guy came over and knocked the ball down. So yeah, Jill was coaching me a little bit too. So I think there's a coach in every wife out there.
Nick Williams continues his punt return duty as Brad Nortman gets ready to kick it away. Under 4 minutes in the 4th and final quarter of the 4th and final preseason game. And that's a great job by the cover team for Jacksonville. So the Atlanta offense is going to be deep in the hole when they come out with 3:05 on the clock when they take the snap. Williams watched that one. Jacksonville down 15. The Falcons up on top. But back on their own 2-yard line. At Sims, Teron Ward got a couple yards there when it looked like he might not get anything. Hey, don't forget, you can own your seat at the new stadium Find out more about the 23 different price options, all levels. Call 678-686-4400 and choose option 1 now to speak with a live representative about Falcons tickets at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
This is an attitude situation here for the Falcons now. Obviously, with just under 3 minutes, as Jacksonville decided to use their first-time hitter, they're going to try to pin Atlanta and try to get favorable field position. The attitude part of it is this Atlanta offense has got to put together a first down. If they can get a first down and make Coach Bradley eat up his timeouts here, then you've essentially put yourself in a position to salt the game away. These are attitude-type drives that come in the regular season all the time. So let's see if this unit can find a way to scratch out a first down.
2nd and 7, and Sims stands in his end zone from the gun, fakes, then throws, and caught by McKissick. Oh, J.D. Look at him. Yeah, that's first down.
Excellent throw by Sims. Stood in the pocket strong, waited for McKissick to clear the underneath defender. He holds the ball for just a count and then shoots it into McKissick, who is able to squeeze it and get the first down. And now Coach Bradley's forced into a situation where he has to let the clock run. And Sims will milk this down to somewhere around 2:10.
Snap with 7 seconds left on the play clock and then handed it off. So clock moving toward the 2-minute warning. Teron Ward again the carry, and we're going to get to that warning before the next play, so the Falcons will take the 2-point advantage into the 2-minute warning. Drive of the game. That was part of an explosive second quarter for the Falcons. Speaking of explosive, Matt Sims to J.D. McKissick right there. A spin move by Teron Ward, who's had 22 carries in this game tonight on a gimping ankle. Another pass to McKissick that took it to the 1, and then Ward finished it off with a short touchdown run in a lot of traffic. That's our North Georgia Honda dealers' key drive of the game.
2 young players stepping up when they needed to.
Well, here's Sims wanting to go over the top to Corey Washington, batted away at the last moment before Washington looked like he had a beat on it. Brian Body Calhoun on the play.
Well, it's a big-time play. He waits to the last minute, elevates and bats it away with the right hand. Sims took the shot, and that's what you see when you're a quarterback and you come back and safety's vacated the middle of the field. The deep shot's the one you're looking for. Had he seen McKissick running the deep over route, the DB had fallen down, and McKissick, he walks into the end zone if he gets him the ball. He just didn't see him. But that's the shot you're taught to take when you come out of a play fake. Find the safety. If he's not in the middle of the field, take the deep shot. It was a well-thrown ball, just a better defensive play.
Brings about a 3rd and 10 over the middle again. This time to Nick Williams. Breaks a tackle, and I think he got the first down. Arch by the stretch there.
Well, he's now put Gus Bradley, if Gus Bradley had any ideas of trying to get the ball back. Sims is throwing the football, and guys stepping up and making catches. Williams and McKissick have put Jacksonville in a bind here.
Williams and Corey Washington come out. We're under 1:15. And the Falcons with a first down will try to run this one out. Teron Ward, guess who is going to be the guy to have the ball on the last couple of plays, one would bet.
Well, I've been impressed with all the guys that had an opportunity on both sides, really. Both sides put guys out there that were battling to try to make their respective teams. A couple of guys stepped up and were seen for the Falcons. Obviously, Teron Ward, J.D. McKissick, Aldrick Robinson. And for some guys that might be on the outside looking in that had some good nights, Malachi Goodman had a good night tonight. He may have made a case for him being on a roster someplace else, if not here in Atlanta. Well, you look at it, you're going to play 3 division opponents in the first 4 games. Randy sandwiched around a trip to the West Coast and then a brutal trip to Denver and to Seattle back-to-back. Not an easy schedule by any stretch of the imagination, but you just play who you got on the roster, right?
Exactly, and there's a guy right there that was a classic example of that tonight, Teron Ward. He certainly put in a night's work. 23 carries, 60 yards, a couple of touchdowns, long run of 20 for him tonight. So these two teams have preseason in the books.
Thanks for letting me jump in with you, Randy. Real quickly, Victor Frank, good friend. He's the producer for tonight's show. Did a great job. Worked with Victor before. He's one of the best in the business. Thanks, Vic. Appreciate it.
Yeah, don't forget, you want to stay tuned for Arch in the post-game show. He'll be inside the locker room. He'll talk to Coach Quinn, talk to the players here on Atlanta CW. That's immediately following the game tonight on Falcons Inside the Locker Room post-game show. We'll wrap it up from here as the Falcons take the preseason finale 17-15 over the Jaguars. Back after this.